Hi, friends. Welcome to Vortex and Alchemy. This is Heather. And today I wanted to ask your higher self, what does your higher self want you to focus on right now? We're doing a pick a pile that seemed to be relatively popular. So we have pile one, pile two, pile three. The first one starts with the word cloak, second is ending, and the third is discovery. So there are timestamps. You can totally go straight to the pile that you feel most drawn to, or if you want to listen to multiple, that's all up to you. Trust your own intuition. Obviously, the world is loud right now. There's a lot going on, and I feel like the energy is not only highly emotionally charged at the moment, it's also very scattered feeling. And that can be a little bit of that Pisces energy, right? We've got a lot of planets in Pisces right now, and Pisces isn't just about feeling, it is about feeling all the way. So you don't really have the opportunity right now to put something off to the side for later. You can't go around it or above it or below it. You have to go through it. So you may be having a lot coming up right now. Stuff that's currently happening, of course, but you also may be having some old emotions coming to the surface. So I wanted to get some clarity on exactly what your higher self wants you to focus on, and maybe shift your focus out of this greater chaos right now, to kind of help yourself through not only Mercury retrograde in Pisces, but Mars is in Pisces now. I think Venus is still in Pisces. So we've got like big emotions that are kind of hanging out in this space. So we're going to begin with pile one with Cloak. Okay, if you chose pile one, you picked Cloak. These are one of my favorite cards because I'm the sucker for holographic. I'm going to read this passage, but first I'm going to let's look at all the cards that came out for you. So Cloak is your first message. We got Protect. You're being asked to protect yourself and your energy. It's okay to want to give to others, which you do effortlessly. It's important, though, that you set healthy boundaries with your energy before doing so. Now is the time to get some protection in place. We also pulled an animal card for you, and we got Rattlesnake. The experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. And the last one, which we'll also read, we got Transcendence. This also represents the moonstone and the crown chakra. So first, let's go ahead and read Cloak. And we'll be pulling cards too to get additional messages. Okay, Cloak. There are times for being transparent, forthcoming, and open. This is not one of them. Whatever you're working on, processing, or exploring, it's best to do it under wraps for now. This is not to encourage paranoia or fear, but simply to protect yourself. Some roads are best traveled at night. Some flames are best lit inside. Some ideas are best not shared. Some projects are best kept secret, at least for the time being. Respect this moment enough, whatever it is for you, to give it its best chance at keeping it within. Let it take root inside you. Protect your time and space from any external forces that attempt to interrupt, and let it grow. You will know when it's time to step out and let it be seen. So we obviously have a theme happening here. There's some protection as well, and also the experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. So I want to read this one too before we do a deep dive in. But already I'm picking up, this has actually a lot to do with whatever you're doing spiritually. So when it comes to how you heal yourself and heal others, you might be trying a new modality, or you may be like interested in something new. And I have a feeling that you may have gone down a few paths this so far when it comes to your belief system and kind of like what modalities are working for you. I feel like in the past you may have overshared, and shared with people that you trusted, but that maybe the information wasn't received well, and it may have made you doubt, um, not just your abilities, but it may have made you doubt going in that direction. This to me feels like whatever you're working on right now, And it feels like it can be spiritual, like it is something to do with yourself and your healing. It's connected to a bigger picture, but I think at the heart of it, there's something to do with your personal healing. And again, it may have been something that you tried to share. Listen, we've all tried being vulnerable before, and we've all experienced something not going well, right? So it's why vulnerability is really scary. I feel like you may have actually been more open to begin with and slowly started to kind of retract your energy. This to me feels very much like this is actually a perfect time to do that. Whereas like normally I would tell you like be brave, like be open, just be yourself. This feels like you are at a point in time of moving through something and you don't need anybody else's opinion right now. There is some creation that's happening, whether this is just internal or something physical that you're trying to manifest or create in your life. It feels like there can be something like very creative, but it's all connected to your healing process. So I'm going to go ahead and read this transcendence card. Says white healing energy, divine inspiration, spiritual protection. That's the second time protection has come up, and cloak. So there's definitely a theme here of making sure that you are retracting or pulling your energy in right now. Your higher self wants you to focus on you. Block out the noise, block out the opinions, especially when it comes to the spiritual realm. Like if you have people in your life that are like, no, you have to do this meditation or you have to do something this way. I think this is the time for you to appreciate where that for people are coming from, but it feels like your frequency has changed. And so the modalities that work for your friends or even some of your friends that or like people you may work with that are in a spiritual community or even like those people you're really close with that you actually do share a lot about your spiritual journey, your frequency has shifted. And I think some of the people around you, theirs hasn't yet. So you may be starting to become attracted to other forms of modalities of healing that maybe they're not into yet. So this says your soul craves for you to remember the karmic lessons you've been taught in past lives so you can advance through your soul cycle and eventually reach the level of transcendence where you no longer need to learn these karmic lessons. Instead, your soul will ascend to the divine council of light to teach and guide others on how to reach their own state of transcendence. Using Moonstone during this pivotal transition will allow your physical body to release any feelings of emotional instability and stress so your inner strength can be renewed. Moonstone's divine energy and healing white light will immerse you in the tranquility and calmness you require to reach a higher frequency, more in line with your higher self. Channel Moonstone's energy to activate and heal your seventh chakra, the crown chakra, where your higher self resides. It is placed just above the crown of your head, and it is your direct connection to source energy. When activated, this energy will enter the crown and be dispersed through each of the six chakras below. Once your higher crown chakra is activated, your self awareness is heightened, which leads on to spiritual enlightenment and knowing. Higher levels of consciousness are attainable in this state. It says, I am effortlessly connected to the universe's cosmic energy, and my soul transcends my physical body when I'm fully aligned with my higher self. I mean, I didn't know it was going to be this right on. Like asking for messages from your higher self, and it's straight up coming from your higher self. So, yeah, you are at a point of a big shift. Um, and this is a shift in your energy, belief system, frequency. So again, this protection, you have so much energy around protection. It's because I think you're wide open right now. And a lot of times when we're transitioning into a higher frequency or higher vibration, um, during that time, it's actually, we're not paying attention necessarily to the energy that's around us or the energy that's feeding off of us because we're more focused on surviving the moment, right? Like a lot of this work has to do with emotional regularity, like being able to understand your emotions, where they're coming from, if they're yours, if they're not. And on top of that, as you're shifting into more of that. It's funny because it's like a lot of us talk about being in our heart space, right? And when we talk about the crown chakra, that's obviously the head space. But for me, the heart and the head are all connected. Your chakras are all connected. I happen to be very connected to my heart and above, and I have a lot more trouble with all of the ones below there. Anything that's grounding. So to me, this energy feels like you've come from a space of being very grounded and you're moving into this space of being connected more to that 5D energy. Um, and this could feel very ungrounded. So, like I said, whatever and whoever is in your life right now that you feel comfortable sharing your spiritual journey with, um, there's something about keeping it quiet right now. Whatever you're trying, whatever new modality you might be trying, and it could be something as simple as trying tarot cards for the first time or getting oracle cards or trying a pendulum, asking it questions. Like there's a lot of things that you can do that work with the energy. And it just feels like whoever's around you right now, they won't get it. And that's okay. They're not supposed to. They're not there yet on their journey. And it's more about you not needing approval. I think like that feels more what it's like needing someone to approve or validate that, yeah, that's the right thing to do, or that's the right way to go. This is about you listening to your higher self, and your higher self is saying, this is a journey for you to take on your own right now, and make sure you're protecting your energy while you do it. Because being wide open, it means you're also filtering a lot of energy right now, and you're not fully aware of it. Sometimes it's like we can go into the grocery store. That's like the best, for me, that's like the best place to practice your energy and honing your ability to read others' energy. Because, like, for the most part, no one wants to be there. Everybody's not like in their body fully. They're all thinking about all the things that they need to do while they're like simultaneously, getting groceries. And it's one of the best places for you to practice protecting your energy and also identifying what's yours, what's not. And it's kind of funny because I feel like a lot of us are a little out of body when we're in those spaces. We're not fully paying attention. So I would say like maybe that would be a good thing. I mean, anywhere you could go to. I just think like the grocery store is the best because most people like not necessarily wanting to be there. Unlike if you went to like, I don't know, shopping and went to a mall or something, it might be a little bit different. This to me is a good place for you to practice this protection of your energy, but also being able to pick up what's not yours and knowing that you're filtering that in and out and not taking it on. You're very open right now, which is why protection is important. I also think like I think sometimes we may over ceremonialize things, which I think is just a very human thing. We have to have order. We have to have, you know, from A to Z how to do something, right? I think keep it simple. You can always just say something simple to your higher self, like, hey, can you protect my energy from all the energy that's around me? And keep it easy and simple for yourself in the beginning. You can get a little more complex and a little more theatrical like later on, and that's totally fine, whatever works for you. But in this beginning part where you're opening up your crown chakra, this is actually feeling the one right above the crown chakra, which is like this higher um, crown chakra. It's when that opens for you, it can be very disorienting. Um, the thing that I experienced when I had a lot of chakras that I didn't even know existed, when they were activated, it was mine all activated for the most part at the same time, which was what I kind of figured out later, a Kundalini um, descending. I didn't know that existed. I only knew of like the Kundalini rising, right? Like activating your chakras from the ground up. Mine came from the top down. And I'm still working through those lower chakras. But it was very disorienting because all of a sudden I was already an emotional person. This took it to the nth degree. Like it was so overwhelming in terms of what I was feeling. So let's get some more messages on, maybe a little bit of advice on how to continue protecting yourself as this opens. This feels very much it's right now. So intensity is the first card. Shocking. The Fool. Yeah, this is a new journey for you. Harmony, the Miser, laziness, Suppression. Okay, interesting. So obviously what we were just saying, oh, bottom of the deck is success. So if you're in this space right now, which is kind of what I'm feeling for you, it's like you're so ready for this initiation, like you're ready for this new energy. It's why you're, I think, inspired to try some new things. Again, sound bath, Reiki, like there's a million modalities out there for you to try, but it just feels like you're ready to get out there and try something new. The only thing that's kind of making you uncomfortable is this intensity and energy and emotion. So, like I said, the first thing I would highly recommend is like make sure that you are identifying what's yours and what's not. Because when you are wide open like that, you really do become a magnet to all the energy around you, and you're automatically transmuting that energy from this maybe lower frequency to a higher frequency. And it can be really exhausting. Where right now, like your higher self is like, pull your energy in and use all of that energy on yourself. The snake here has the experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. So that's why I'm like, this is super important in terms of as you're opening up these higher chakras, as you're connecting more and more to your intuition, your higher self, as you're learning to trust that more, it's important that you understand that you may have things come into your space, people, places, and things that kind of test you in this way where it's basically allowing you to practice. Test is like kind of a strong word. I don't always like being like the universe is testing you. I mean, I'm going through a lot right now too, and I feel like sometimes the universe is testing me, but this feels more like practice. So you may have some people, places, things come in that are testing or giving you practice on how to protect your energy in the moment. So intensity is kind of the energy where you are right now. You have the full energy. This is like ready to step into this unknown space. It's really that excitement of trying something new. And why I think this whole cloak is here about like keeping it to yourself, it's because you need to be in this energy. You don't need a Debbie Downer right now. Like you don't need somebody telling you, I don't know if that idea is going to work, or I don't know, I've tried that before and I didn't like it. All of that can be totally true. You just have to remember that's somebody else's journey. It doesn't necessarily mean yours needs to look like that. I also think like none of our journeys look the same. And I think that's what's so amazing about our experiences and what we can share with one another. So this is where you're moving from this intense energy to harmony. This is one of my favorite cards. I'm a big fan of dolphins and whales. So that's part of it. But what I love here is look how I was talking about the heart chakra earlier and that connection to the higher self, right? And this is really the third eye that it's highlighting. But, these dolphins up in this space feel very much like more of those crown chakras and higher crown chakra energy that's more connected to that five dimension, fifth dimension. So this is where you're heading right now. And how you get here is through this. Now, what's interesting is we got the miser. So again, you can look at this as this is usually the Four of Pentacles. So you could look at it as holding back, holding on. And a lot of times this to me it always feels like hoarding, like hoarding something or holding on to something for yourself. But to me, this feels very much like that protection energy. This is you holding, like, look at all the gems and all of the light in here. It's interesting because even this kind of matches up with that intensity and even with all the yellow in here too. So it's almost like as you're expanding your light and you're heightening your frequency, it's kind of holding some of that back right now until you can stabilize it. Once you're able to stabilize it, then let it shine, let it rip. But like right now, it's kind of about hoarding that for yourself and holding it for yourself so that you're able to transition into this more harmonious energy and a little bit less of this like it's intense like I don't know how much more I can handle of this. Then we have laziness, and I love this card. This is actually the Nine of Cups in the tarot. So it represents, the dream, but being able to be comfortable in this new energy and at this new frequency. Like this dude is just like kicked back, having a great time, not caring about anything that's happening back here. Like it almost looks like mirrors, like mirroring the past, anything that happened, just looking forward to this. I don't know what's coming yet, but I'm going to relax in this until I have to act. And sometimes that's like the hardest thing to do because we're always trying to move forward constantly. So there is a little bit of this where as you're wanting to move through this, you're also being asked to like pause and hold it for just a minute until you can stabilize that energy. Now, suppression, this is 10 of Wands. And it's interesting that you have this here because I actually don't think this is a bad thing. I think the suppression actually has something to do with there's a part of you that's held back from this. I think you may have wanted to move forward in this energy a while ago. And I think you were told or convinced no. Like I said, there's something about you opening up to someone that you trusted when it comes to like more of your spiritual path. And that person not necessarily agreeing with the direction you were wanting to go or the modalities you wanted to use. It feels like you actually suppressed this movement forward because someone said like that's not a good idea or I tried that and it didn't work for me. So to me this is actually you releasing this. Let me see, like I have there's definitely some more messages that want to come through. I'm going to pull a few more of these. Let me just see, can you give me more information on this suppression card? Soar. You're being asked to stop dimming your own light, period. It's time for you to come out of the shadows and let your authentic self soar. Fly high, dear one. So, interesting enough, like this is kind of like that full energy. So, I do think it had something to do with that. Like, you may have slowed your progress down or your healing down um, because someone told you that wasn't the way to do it. Let's get one more. Anything else that you want to tell pile one about this part of their journey? Fresh start, which is also the Fool card. You're being given the opportunity to begin again. Allow yourself to embrace this new life and open up fully to this gift that you've been given. So this is actually pretty interesting because again, that suppression was this something stopped you from moving forward in this spiritual path. It doesn't mean you weren't being spiritual and like, you know, doing a lot of your healing work. You've been doing all of that, but there was something that was preventing you from going forward. Even though your higher self was like, no, 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 like it's time to try that or it's time to come this direction. And this can also, if it's not a person, this can be an old thought pattern or even like how you were raised. You were raised in a very like strict, very religious household. Like this may have been real scary to start to open up to because you've always been open and always been sensitive and you just didn't understand what was happening. So what could have even slowed you down in this progress could be an old belief system of like, this is witchy or like, this is, you know, this is not of the light. And I think you're starting to realize that's bullshit. So everything that's kind of coming up right now is pushing you in this new direction. The bottom of the deck is believe. It says you're being asked to fully believe in yourself and your dreams. It's time for that idea that's lived inside your heart to be brought into the world so others can benefit from it. Believe that you can bring it to life and you will do exactly that. And this is where it has something to do with fulfilling your purpose as a healer. That is what you're bringing into the world. And we don't have to overcomplicate it, right? Like, it doesn't mean you're going to be a Reiki master or you have to, you know, take people on journeys. Like, it can be whatever you're called to, right? And I've talked about just being you sometimes, just being able to hold this vibration, just being able to filter a lot of the energy that's around you. For some healers, that is your role. Besides just being that person that's in a lot of people's lives, that's probably helping a lot of people. This time is about helping yourself. And this time is about taking all of this energy that you may have suppressed for a while, all of these experiences that you've had that you couldn't explain, things that might have been a little scary because you didn't understand them. And this is about kind of taking yourself out of the cage, right? It's like letting go of all of the preconceived notions or ideas that you have around spirituality and what that needs to look like versus what if you feel like it should look like for you. Um, so I hope that was helpful. I feel like there's one more message. Okay, let's get one from here. What's a final message for pile one, please? for pile one's higher self. Okay. You had a couple fall, so I'm going to grab those in a second. We got be clear about where you are putting your focus right now. Focus on your desired outcome. You have everything within you to create the life of your dreams. Stop doubting yourself for once. This is your time. We've got you. This is crazy because this came out in the very first reading I ever posted. Uh, so it's wild that that would come out so quickly after. We also got let go of the old and make way for the new. You may find yourself being distracted by random thoughts, fears, or doubts. Don't allow yourself to be governed by them. Simply observe and choose to take aligned action and choices. And we got count all your blessings, even the small ones. Show gratitude and appreciation for all that you have in your life and all that has yet to come into it. Your best days are still ahead of you. Isn't that a wonderful thought? So, whatever fear you had, or again, you being told that's not the way to go, you shouldn't do that. This is all starting to fall away. And it's mostly because you can't ignore it anymore. So, all this energy that you've been trying to suppress, like, I just feel like it's so loud, it's so intense. You might even be feeling not just overwhelmed, but like very confused by it. So, I hope that you found a message in here. I hope that this helps you as you transition through this space. Like, I feel like you're very close to understanding that your journey doesn't need to look like anyone else's, and also kind of letting go some of the old thought patterns or old ideas around what is right versus what is not, and what actually feels right to you. Because to me, it feels like your chakra is very open right now, but like your higher self is trying to expand you even further. So hang in there. You have success was that final card, right? And awareness is right under that. So I feel like you're so close. This is right now what your higher self is wanting you to focus on. So I think as the moment you actually start to focus on this and really start to learn how to protect your energy is the moment you transmute all of this into your space. And that's probably when you also will start to maybe identify or connect more with other modalities. So thank you so much for being here. And remember that you matter and everything you do every day matters. And don't shine your light right now. Keep that for yourself so that you can shine it later. Thank you. See you next time. Hi, Pile 2. You chose ending. We will read the actual meaning of this card, but first we're going to take a look at all the other cards that came out for you too. So, first card we got was pay attention. You're being asked to pay extra close attention to the signs you're being given, both the subtle ones and the ones that can't be missed. These signs will help you see how to best move forward in order to live your best life. You actually had two come out. You also had healing. Your body, mind, and soul are in a period of deep healing right now. You're going through many transformations at once, and you're being asked to allow yourself to receive the healing you need with open arms and an open heart. For your animal card, we got Panda. Create a sacred space for yourself in your home and or place of work. I'm seeing a theme here. Okay. And then your final card we got was Ammonite, Trust, and Palace. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll read endings first, and then we'll read what this card means too. And then from there, we're going to pull some cards for you and get some more messages. So again, we're basically asking your higher self, what do you need to focus on right now? Now, obviously, it is pretty in your face when endings is the first thing that comes out. So we can definitely say that you're going through the release of something. You're going through an ending of something. I will say, like, it feels like it's an ending that needed to happen for a long time. It's something that maybe you even put off out of fear. And it's mostly not just about the fear of something ending, but the fear of nothing coming to replace it. So this card ending means there is always a rebirth with every ending, but this card is not about that. Too often we try to dress up endings in soft language, That makes it more palatable and easier to swallow because somewhere in our minds we believe we are not strong enough to handle it. Do not dare to think that you are too soft to live through an ending. Bathe in the ash of the ending. Let the full force of it hit you. Feel the weight of it. Stand within it. Acknowledge it for what it is or what it was. Not all endings live fresh within us. When we have the courage to stand in the nothingness that is the end, we are putting on armor. When we face it again and again, we become life itself. Nothing can be stripped from us. We are everything and nothing at the same time. We see truly that there is no ending or beginning, only what is. Whew. This energy is very intense. Pile one was intense too, but in a slightly different way. This feels this feels like it's a combination of endings. It isn't just one thing. It is a house of cards that's being knocked down. Okay, so trust. Next, we're going to read this card for the Ammonite. Instinct development wisdom. Trust is a muscle you must continually exercise. Your subconscious mind may at times hold you back from obtaining something you deeply want or a goal you've had your sights set on accomplishing, which could be because you're ruminating on self limiting or conflicting beliefs instead of trusting your instincts and intuition. You must allow the universe to work in rhythm with and for you, trusting that there is always a connection between yourself and the divine that leads you towards fulfilling and enjoyable experiences. This trust in the unknown and intangible will profoundly strengthen your ability to draw closer to what you desire. If you think of things as being unachievable or unrealistic, then that's how they will stay. Decide to trust, as the alternative is to remain uncertain and concerned. The choice is yours. Be receptive and enable the asteroid Pallas, which was named after the goddess Pallas Athena, to bring you energy of skill, wisdom, and courage. Pallas, a beautiful combination of feminine energy intertwined with masculine strategic intelligence, allows your intuitive and creative aspects to rise to the surface. Do not overthink it. Sit comfortably within these energies and allow yourself to feel and trust those feelings and vibrations. Ammonite is an ancient fossil, its spiraled shell containing ancient knowledge of Earth. Its structure is symbolic in numerology of the number 9 and carries along the vibrational frequencies of this number. Ammonite pushes your spiritual growth and development along by offering insight and allows you to see the entire picture so you can sit in a space in which you can truly tap into your intuition and use your trust in the universe muscle. Ammonites will bring clarity and offer karmic redemption. So interesting that it actually coincides with the number 9 because the number 9 is also the number of endings, right? So I'm going to pull some cards for you and we're going to get some more messages from your higher self. I think this is pretty straightforward. So to me, this feels like something, like I said, it's an ending that needed to happen a while ago, but one that you put off. And a lot of it was because of that unknown of the next steps. Also, again, if something leaves your life, being afraid that nothing's going to fill that space again. So there's something important here about as this is ending, because this feels like maybe something that started last year, right? Last year was the year of the snake. That was a lot of shedding of old energies, and also a 9 year in numerology. So as we're moving into this new year of the fire horse and one, um, I think a lot of people thought like, oh, the fire horse is going to come in and it's just going to burn everything down and I'm just going to move forward. I think a lot of people thought it was going to clear the way, but you know, as I was saying earlier, we have a lot happening in Pisces right now, which is not a, we're just going to like run right through it. Like it is going to take a minute for you to acknowledge everything and all the steps as you move through this energy and you move through this ending. So this may be an ending that started or began last year. And but it was something that like you had thought about for a while and you had been putting it off and putting it off until you couldn't ignore it anymore. And it may have even been an ending that was forced by another or a situation, right? Sometimes I feel like the universe will ask us a few times, if we're ready for a change. And usually we're not. So we'll say no until the universe will just force the change on us. So something could have happened or come to light that you couldn't ignore anymore, or something collapsed, that was kind of being held up very well, just like with not a very good foundation or stable foundation anymore. So it seems to me your higher self has been trying to give you signs. We have this pay attention to the signs card while you've been trying to heal through this. Um, and I feel like you've maybe felt pretty alone as you're trying really hard to trust. You're trying really hard to move forward and to believe that not only was it time for that to end, but by ending that, it does open doors for something new. And, in this card, the ending, it talks about there is no ending, there's no beginning, there's only now. So I think, as you're focused on your healing, if thinking ahead and thinking into the future of like, well, what if this other thing doesn't work out that could replace this thing that ended? It's almost asking you to not even live there right now. Like be here now, work on this, work on healing. We have the panda that has create your sacred space for yourself in your home or your place of work. This to me feels like this has something to do with more personal relationships. So it could be a relationship that ended, whether a friendship or a romantic relationship, or something that was again, on again, off again. Maybe something that you truly hoped at one point in time in your life that it would work out, only to get to a point in time where you knew it wouldn't, but you were so afraid to let go of it that you stayed in something that was not healthy. So, this creating a sacred space for yourself is very much about being able to be here now and focus just on this right now. And this, right? Pay attention to the signs, because I feel like your higher self has been sending you signs and messages when you've asked. And you may not be asking something specific like, I want to see an elephant today in a random place. A lot of times you can ask for really weird or random things for a sign. Um, but I feel like this has actually been more in your face of signs and synchronicities that are happening that are like really trying to show you that this is okay, and that it was more than time for that to happen. I feel like there's a culmination of it, of the ending actually happening soon or now, or you're like right at the very end of this chapter. So, like I said, this ending began sometime I think last year, and now we're moving into the finalities of it. And some of it could be where the ending actually occurred, but it's been the energy you've been holding on to through this time period. And some of that could be just the sadness. Um, and again, like you can have a relationship with somebody and you could have a lot of really beautiful times with that person, and you can have a lot of shitty times with that person. But a lot of times, as we let go of things, we focus a lot more on not only the good times, but the what could have been, right? And I think sometimes we mourn a life that wasn't real. We mourn a relationship that wasn't real. We mourn the possibility of what it could have been. So let's see what else your higher self wants to talk about. This is very much about you being in the moment, you paying attention to signs and synchronicities when you're feeling scared to keep moving forward, when you're feeling scared to take a leap of faith in a different direction. It's really about focusing right now on your inner work and healing your heart. Okay. So success was the first card that jumped out. We got awareness, sharing, mind, going with the flow, the burden. Mm-hmm. Bottom of the deck is postponement. Okay. Possibilities. Possibilities right under postponement. So this is what I was talking about with this ending. You put it off. Like you put it off for a while and you stayed in something that was not fulfilling. And this can be a job too, right? I think relationships sometimes is just easier to relate to, but this could have been a job that you were at for many years. And, you got to a point where, You weren't happy there anymore. It didn't fulfill you in any way. You weren't making any progress or moving up at all. You had no place to go or to grow or to learn anything new. But you were really afraid, like, but what happens if I go to a new place and it's worse? Like what happens if I take a leap of faith into a new career path and it doesn't work out? It would have been better just to stay where I was, to have a job, right? It's the same with relationships. It's like, what if I leave this person and I can never find another person, or I find someone, but it's not, it's not good either. Like there's always a lot of fear around making that change. So to me, it's really beautiful that your first card that came out is success. This is your higher self saying, like, yes, you did it. Like this postponement, it's what has kept you from this possibilities card. Like it's kept you from moving into anything and everything that could be happening for you, whether that's a new relationship or a new job. It comes down to like you putting off this movement has slowed down these opportunities. It doesn't mean they're not going to happen now. I don't think like you can avoid your destiny. Like I think your destiny is going to happen whether you like it or not. But to me, it feels like maybe it's slowed down your path a bit, and you may have had some opportunities that either tried to come in or couldn't come in because you were still here. And it could even be that you didn't fully recognize it or believe in it when it happened. So easily like a job too, where you had a friend at a company who's like, oh my God, we have a role that I think you'd be great at. And you were like, yeah, that doesn't sound like anything I'm interested in. Only to find out maybe even later, like, oh shit, like that would have been a good move on my part. um, it'll come back around and maybe in a different form. But like again, I don't think we can avoid our destiny. Like I think it's gonna happen whether we like it or not. So just because you put this off or you made the choice to slow it down doesn't mean that it got rid of this, that your possibilities don't exist anymore. They do. They're going to be coming back around again, and you're going to have new eyes to look at it with, right? You're not going to be coming from the same energy. You're not going to be looking at things the same way. The fears that you had in this space of getting stuck or feeling trapped or tied down to something out of obligation, out of whatever. We do a whole lot of things for other people and can self sacrifice, right? That's that people pleasing that a lot of us have some trouble with, right? So you're going to be, as you get through this healing, right? This is the focus right now. Keep focusing here. But as you move through that and you move past this postponement and this slowdown, you're going to have more possibilities come into your space that you're going to be able to look at with new eyes, and you're going to be able to be more discerning. So it doesn't necessarily have to be one way or the other. You can look at something with new eyes and be like, is that for me? Like, I'm going to listen and lean more into my intuition. And that's what this is, this little panda here, that create a sacred space for yourself. There's something in here about you having a hard time trusting your intuition right now, which I totally forgot this even has trust on it. And it has to do with whatever the situation was. Like I said, it feels like it was a long time that you were in something and you made yourself feel stuck in it. And ultimately, that was a lie. You were never stuck. You could have always left, but you made a choice not to. And so, because of that, there's something like some hang up that you might have right now. That's this mind card that's coming in, where you're getting kind of stuck in a loop in your head of, how do I know what is my intuition? How do I trust my intuition again? My intuition said this was a good thing. And, my intuition said that this was going to work out, but it didn't. What's interesting to me is that your intuition told you a while ago this wasn't working out. You had all the signs in the world pointing you and saying, yeah, this worked out exactly as it did and as it was meant to, when it was meant to. But you're done growing here. You can't learn anything here anymore. It is time to move forward. Your intuition was yelling at you to move forward, but you chose not to, right? And that's okay. Again, I don't think like, I don't know when it comes to free will and how all of that works. Like again, I think anybody who tells you they know how any of this works, run away from. None of us really know, but I do think that there was a reason why you paused and there was a reason why you waited, and now that is actually what you're not thinking of the intuition that was telling you to leave. You're thinking about the intuition that was telling you to stay, but it wasn't your intuition that was telling you to stay. It was your fear. It was your ego, because you were afraid, if I leave this, nothing else will come and I'll be alone forever, or I'll be homeless and have no job, right? So as we move in here, what's interesting is like success is your first card, which means you've successfully moved through that ending. It's followed by awareness and sharing, right? And I think this comes in the future. Your energy is more in this space right now. You're really trying to, one, there's some relief coming in terms of your emotional, space and state, but you're still doing a lot of this deep healing. And to me, like, the awareness card is kind of interesting because you have this shadow figure that's on the outside, and then you have this like serene figure that's on the inside that's like burning its way out. And to me, that's kind of like what the fire horse is. Like, I have a lot going on in my life right now where I just feel like, oh, the fire horse just came in and like set everything on fire. It was not like a like, hey, let me open these doors for you. It's been very big and loud and overwhelming emotionally. So to me, this feels very much like your intuition is this little figure that's in here, and your ego is this. And I think some of your fear right now, this mind card, like where you're kind of going over and over and over in your head, is more about like that what if space of, well, I trusted it to do this. Like, I trusted to stay in a situation or to be with somebody, and it didn't work out. Like, what if that happens again? I don't think I can trust that inner voice or my gut, right? Like, I must not know anything. It's a lot like a very self deprecating energy. And this would be a reminder to you that that's your ego. And like I've said it before in a previous video, like for me, my intuition, I call like my intuition's like my surfer dude. My intuition is so mellow and so just like middle of the road and very calm. My ego's insane, right? Like my ego is the one that's like, you can't do that. It's never going to work out. Like, you're never going to find anybody. You're going to be alone forever. You're going to die alone. Nobody will ever love you. Like, that is my ego. My intuition is like, go with the flow. Like, just wait and see what happens. There's so many possibilities that are coming your way, but you need to relax into it, right? Like, that's more of your intuition. And I feel like you're really discovering that. But this is a reminder that your higher self wants you to know. Your intuition didn't tell you to stay. Your intuition told you it was time to go. Your ego told you to stay. And your ego is the one that made you so afraid that you postponed that movement. And that's okay. I think things unfold in the time that they're supposed to. It happened exactly as it was meant to. So also, don't beat yourself up for staying as long as you did. Shit happens, right? But there was a reason why you stayed that long. And think of the things that you learned about yourself during that time, because you learned so much about yourself that you started to realize this wasn't aligned with you anymore. And you finally were able to pull away from it. So we have this sharing. And like I said, this to me feels more like future energy. I'm going to come back to this. I want to kind of go into this space because this to me feels very much more like where you're at right now. So like I said, there's that mind energy. Like, you're really trying to understand, like, what is my intuition versus what is my ego? And this message that I'm giving you right now might be that time to discern the difference. Like, you may not have realized you had two different voices happening in your head. You may take it all as one thing, and you may have called it your intuition this entire time. But this is about you understanding these two things are separate and equal, if that makes sense. Like, they're all a part of you. It's all a part of you, but it's what you choose to listen to. It's what you choose to act from. This going with the flow energy is what you're trying to do. And I feel it so heavily in here. Like, you're at this point of transition. You're at this point of like really wanting to trust and release and let go and be successful in this endeavor and like move forward. It is palatable how ready you are to let go, but you're still having a really hard time with like riding the wave. Like, you're still fighting it a little bit. And it's just because of the fear. It's that fear of the unknown. And it's also the fear of like what already happened to you. Half of our life is us being afraid of what happened to us happening again. So that's what this is here. This burden is just like, what if I do something again? I get a new job again. I start dating someone again, and it becomes this again. And your higher self is trying to tell you It's never going to be like that again. You learned this already. Now, what you do is you take those lessons with you and you leave the emotional baggage behind. You learned everything you could from that situation, and you are ready now to move forward. And you are ready to take that lesson with you so that, again, when you do open up and you are ready to start sharing and you are ready to go after what you want, one, you're not living here in fear. You're living more in this space, going with the flow and awareness. You're aware of what feels good and what doesn't. This is about you leaning into your intuition and trusting your intuition. We're going to pull a couple more cards. Just want a couple more cards of like what your higher self wants you to focus on right now. Let's see what comes out. Is there anything you can tell me actually about this burden card? Keep going. It may feel as though you've been on this path or journey for so long, and you may even wonder if you're making any progress toward your dreams. This message is a loving reminder for you to keep going. You're almost there. And that's what I was feeling too with this success card. Like you're so close. And some of this has to do with you allowing yourself to move forward, forgiving yourself for staying as long as you did, but also just having an understanding that maybe that all happened exactly as it was supposed to. You don't need to beat yourself up about it, right? Like just because things moved slow and postponed doesn't mean you didn't learn anything from it or it was stagnant. Even if it felt like the energy was stagnant at the time, it needed to be for you to see something in a new light. Worth. This is a big one for all of us, right? You're being asked to honor your worth. It can be so easy to feel that we aren't good enough or worthy of happiness. This simply isn't the case. You are worthy and you have inherent value. It's time to cherish yourself and see your true worth. And that's this transition point. That's going from this to this, and it's letting this go, right? It's understanding that no, actually, I'm worthy of change, of a new job, of a new relationship, one that's better aligned with me. And I'm going to use my intuition and my discernment that I learned from this situation over here to have a new situation full of possibilities. Just set this here. Okay, I'm going to get a couple more for you and then we'll close this out. I hope that you had some helpful messages today that's helping you transition through this. And just know like your higher self loves you. It is you. It's that part of you that never got shut off in terms of, you know, we're born and I think we come in with all the knowledge that we need. And then we're immediately told, like, no, that's not right. No, that's not the way to do it. Oh, that's not how we do things here, right? And so we conform to whatever we're raised around, whatever the societal norms are. And it takes a lot for us to journey back to the OG, like the original us that we were when we first got here. So, final messages from your higher self. What do you want to tell pile 2? We got let go of the old and make way for the new. You may find yourself being distracted by random thoughts, fears, or doubts. Don't allow yourself to be governed by them. Simply observe and choose to take aligned action and choices. So, again, this is you being aware of all of this and also being aware that you have a whole new chapter that's coming in that isn't going to be anything like this. You learned all those lessons already. You don't need to repeat them. You've done that repeat a few times. You've done that roundabout many times at this point. Whatever's coming your way is everything that you've been hoping and wishing for, but not allowing the space for. Now that you're creating the space for it. And so your focus right now is to get yourself right. And by that, you need to get to the space where you're ready to receive this, where you feel worthy. That's why it's telling you to keep going. Pay attention to the signs that all your higher self and the universe is trying to give you right now, whether that's angel numbers, like I'm seeing 1111 all the time, or 111 all the time, or crows won't leave me alone. I mean, there's lots of things that can happen in our everyday life that a lot of us can brush off as coincidence. If you start seeing repeating numbers, look up what they mean and look up a few people's opinions on that, right? It doesn't have to be like this is the one source of truth. But see if any of that has any relation to what you're experiencing. because I feel like your higher self is trying to give you all the signs right now that yes, this is the direction to go. Yes, you're doing the right thing. Get out of your mind and go with the flow. So, again, I want you to remember that you matter and everything you do every day matters. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Hi, pile three. You chose the discovery card. Now, I will totally say with Mercury retrograde, this is the second time of me recording. I did the full spread and the full reading for you here. And for some reason, my record button did not turn on. So evidently, that was not your message. So we're starting over again. And from that, the other cards that came out for you when I pulled this card originally was the card Expand. You're being asked to expand. You live in a huge world with endless possibilities, and staying safe in the known is no longer working for you. It's time to make your world just a little bit bigger. It's time to imagine the possibilities and go for them. We also got for your animal card, Cat, Domestic. It's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. There's a theme. And then your final card, the crystal card that we got, was Expansion with the crystal opal and the North Node. So we're gonna go ahead and read the meaning for this card, and then also the meaning for this card, and then we will pull cards and get more information from your higher self of what you should be focusing on right now. Again, you have Expand and Expansion here, pretty clear what that should be. And the fact that I'm having to do this whole reading again is actually super interesting to me, because ultimately, again, we have this card of discovery, right? And for me, like, I had a whole message that came out, and I have a feeling the message is going to be different now that the recording is like my phone is actually recording. So this was a great discovery for me as well. So discovery. We will always want to make sense of things. We try to package them up nicely, assign them a purpose, and find reason. Discovery asks you not to. When we are uncovering, we do not need to find a label. We don't need to categorize or ascribe meaning. We do not need to react or project into the future. We just need to stay open, to stay in the moment of discovery. When we attempt to define what's coming up, we are putting up blocks and seeing the whole picture. We want to keep our arms wide, hungry for the discovery, to bear witness and let it land within us however it chooses to. We may not see or feel the seeds being planted, but trust that they are. And then for expansion, look this one up really quick. Honor spiritual path, true self. In order to experience expansion, you must experience growing pains, letting go of your ego and attachments. If you cannot let go of these, you will not be able to make space to level up mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and vibrationally. The North Node represents what you need to explore in order to evolve, grow, and expand. By learning from your past experiences and your developed skills from the South Node, you can continue your work on expansion in the North Node. The latter is like your North Star, Polaris, guiding you to the path you are meant to be on and helping you to expand deeper into your spirituality. This is your main purpose in life and will further your soul's evolution. Opals act as a mirror to your emotions and thoughts and have a way of bringing up pent up desires and emotions to the surface to be dealt with. In return, they will absorb these emotions in order to make room for clarity and your creativity to come through. Opals also enhance your cosmic mind, consciousness, and allow you to fall into your spiritual path by expressing your true self with originality. Opals can be your portal key to the North Node and lead you to your authentic path of expansion. So if you're unfamiliar with North Node, South Node, I am not an astrologer. I do not pretend to be an expert in that, but I do like it. So I can explain at least to you that North Node, South Node, they're not planets, it's not a star, it's not a solar system. It is the point in the sky between the Earth and the Sun and the Earth and the Moon. And how astrology looks at it as your North Node is more of the destiny point. It's where you're headed, it's what you're expanding into. Whereas the south node is where you've been, it's your karmic past, it's past lives, it's where your comfort zone lies as well. So I also like that we have this domestic cat. It's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. So again, this expansion has something to do with this. You've had a vision for a very long time, and it's been something that you've thought about and you've dreamed about, but you haven't taken these steps forward to get there. And it feels like to me that you actually have maybe done whatever this is in more of a group setting at some point in time. And it's become your belief that it's something you can't do alone or on your own. And your higher self wants you to know that's not true. So let's get some more messages out and see what else they want to talk about. Oh, hello. Got clinging to the past, suppression, playfulness, the lovers, fighting, turning in. Bottom of the deck, the rebel. What's under that? Control. Okay. This is a different vibe than the last one I did. Okay. So I feel like this point that your higher self is trying to make, this focus that it wants you to have, is whatever has been holding you back from taking this leap forward, it has something to do with past. So this whole like it's time to strike out on your own and relinquish your overdependency on others. I feel like at some point in time, you may have tried whatever this vision was. Maybe it wasn't something that you just kept to yourself and dreamed about. Maybe it was something you actually dipped your toe in and tried to make happen. And it didn't work out. So you were under the impression that you can't create this without the help of others or without the need of others to like help. It just feels like maybe you're a little bit, it's like you have this dream that you've had, and it feels like you went for it once and it didn't quite go the way that you wanted to. And that's something that's been holding you back from trying it again or trying it in a different way. So you've been spending a lot of time in this energy of clinging to the past and suppression. This is something that's been going around and around and around of like in your head, and it feels something like something creative. And that could be a million different things. It can be like a business endeavor. Um, and it can be even like something to do with, if it's like painting or creating music or creating art. Like there's something here that it's about creating. And you have this idea that because you tried it once on your own and it didn't work out, and maybe you've done a different or slightly different version of it with the help of others, there's a belief system you have around not being able to fulfill this on your own. um, what's interesting is with this rebel card, it's also like this is the emperor in the regular tarot deck. This is about like doing it your way, right? Like, and it feels like however you have subdued this dream, and maybe again it's in partnership with others or working with others. Like a great way to describe it is like, let's say you're a painter or an artist and right now you're doing graphic design for a company, right? And maybe you tried to actually go out and be an artist and have your own art show or something and it didn't work. This is basically where you kind of accepted this belief around your ability to do it on your own. Like, well, I can't really make that work on my own, so I'm just going to do like the next sort of best thing. The problem is because you have this rebel energy, this has put you in a tight box. It's not allowing you to actually do what you're wanting to do. It's suppressing all of this creative energy that you have, and you're kind of being forced into a very small square. And it's not really resonating or feeling very good anymore. Like you're really wanting to break out, You may have even been testing the waters a little bit with whatever this current project is or this current thing is, where it's like you kind of get to use your skill set, but not all the way. I think you've been testing the limits a little bit of pushing your ideas a little bit harder than maybe you had in the past. Just because, again, the suppression is building up and you're getting to the point where I feel like you can't hold it back anymore. This fighting has everything to do with you fighting yourself. So I mean this gently, but this feels like a hurdle you've created based on an experience that you had and a fear or a belief system. It's not, there's no fear here. I'm actually not feeling like you're afraid to expand or move forward. It's a belief. It's a belief that if you try, it won't work out or it won't be successful. But this suppression energy, like this has been a cyclical thing where, maybe it's even something that comes up in your day to day. Again, this could, like, if we take it like you're a graphic designer and, you have somebody ask you to make a design for something, but it has to be rigid and it has to be in this space. You may be pushing the limits a little bit. And I think like you're getting mixed results with that. Like you're getting some people who are like, yes, like that's so good. Like that's such a great idea or a different way of looking at it. And then you're also getting people that are like, well, that's not really what I asked for. Um, so you're kind of fighting this thing of like trying to fit in a box, like trying to be normal, whatever that is, trying to fit into this space. But all your soul is wanting to do right now is expand. And this has everything to do with whatever your soul purpose is. So whether this is creating art of some sort or creating your own business, whatever it is, it's going to impact others. And it's important that you continue to move forward. This is where like I feel like the clinging to the past is actually going away. And this lovers, this doesn't feel like another person. This actually to me feels like your inner world. This is a lot of like your inner world of you trying to find balance between your head and your heart, your masculine, your feminine. Like this is about you trying to find this inner balance of being like creating a foundation where you're ready to actually move into this space. Because you see, like this to me is where you're kind of at right now. You're still a little bit going in a loop of things that already occurred or something that failed in the past. Um, but you're trying to rebalance that. Like I feel like this rebel energy is pushing you to assess this and to look deeper at the meanings of why you're kind of like allowing yourself to be stuck in a box. Now, this like middle energy to me is this is like your bridging energy. This is what's been keeping you a bit stuck from moving forward and moving out of this old belief system that like if it didn't work out the first time, it's definitely not going to work out the second time. The only way I can do this is if I'm working for others or I have somebody else that's helping me with it. And your higher self your higher self is saying like, no, that's like bullshit. So I do think this, especially with this rebel card and the fact that control was right under here too. This to me and like burden is right after that. I just think like you're tired of being in a box. And this expansion is coming whether you want it or not. And I feel like it's like a 50-50. On some days you're like, I just want to go for it. Like I just want to go out on my own or do this thing on the side and see if it could create something new for me or better for me or bigger for me where it's me being authentically me. And then you kind of go back into this space. So this is where I feel like you're kind of teetering right now. You're trying to find balance within yourself so that you can create this foundation to take this leap forward. Whatever this is, like it it is similar to what you're doing right now, but it is not authentically you. It's authentically whatever this is. Like if it's another company or another person or whatever it is, like this is you doing work for someone else instead of doing work for yourself. So you're kind of teetering between these two energies. And I think like it's interesting to me because I feel like you have clinging to the past, which is like being stuck in a narrative going around and around. And then your future is like this playfulness that's like freedom. Like this card says nothing but like, I'm free. I'm free to create. I'm free to do what I want. And I'll no longer be controlled. I can do this exactly as I wish. And then down here, you have the lovers, which again, to me, is more of that self love, self belief, changing this belief system around you being unable to do something and creating this foundation of balance that, like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I can do this. And being brave enough to take that leap forward. And I think right now, this bridging energy of you kind of going back and forth is this, it's that suppressing it, then fighting it and fighting for it. And I think you're going back and forth between, again, like ready to be free and to move forward and to expand into this new part of yourself. And also really trusting what your intuition is telling you. And then kind of going back into this old space of, you know, sometimes, like, again, we can make really uncomfortable things comfortable just because we've been there for so long and we've been doing it that way for so long. But I just feel like your inner voice is like so ready to break the chains and be like, I'm done. Like, you have this image of somebody who's tied down, right? They're trapped in this space. And then you have the rebel over here who's just like breaking through chains and has like this amazing fire that they're taking with them. They're so ready. There's a phoenix flying with them. Like, they're just ready to move forward and do what they want the way that they want to. And I think, like, again, there's something in here about you feeling like you need someone else. It's not even approval, again, because you have that rebel energy. It's just that belief system. It's a belief system that's changing right now. And again, it can be a lot of different things. I'm picking up like something more along the lines of like starting a business, or in a creative sense, like if you're a painter wanting to have your own show, or it's something that you've done on the side and you just have not shared it with others. I'm going to get some more information. What else do you want to tell pile 3? Whoa. Sorry, that one flying. Okay, we got check-in. When you think about whatever it is that you're pondering, take a moment to check in with how you feel about it. Do you feel lighter or heavier, excited or filled with dread? Pay attention to your inner guidance. It's always so helpful. That's that turning in. So again, I feel like this feels very mundane to you right now. It feels like you're forcing yourself in a box and you're kind of sick of that feeling. You're ready to like set the box on fire. You're ready to expand into something bigger than what this can contain. Okay, what else? Connect. You're being asked to connect with others in meaningful ways. Sometimes it's helpful to get a new perspective and to simply be around other people. You're in need of this right now, and deep connections will benefit you in many ways. That's interesting because, again, this whole thing is about you being able to strike out on your own and do this on your own without the help of others. But maybe it's about learning how to talk about what you're wanting to do instead of keeping it as just this visionary thing that's inside your head. Because it's not so much about needing someone else to do it, but maybe it is about being able to share what this is, because it almost feels like if you start talking about it or sharing it, people will be like, why are you not doing that? Like, maybe it's a little bit of that encouragement that you're needing. Like, this to me feels like connecting with the right people who are going to say, go for it. Like, you don't need somebody else. And this check-in is about, like, how do you feel when you're doing this work? How do you feel when you're doing this other work on the side that you have so much passion for? Resolution. Whatever it is that you've been struggling with is about to be resolved. Remember that resolutions don't always happen in the way we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. So this resolution has more to do with this clinging to the past energy. I feel like whatever has been holding you back from taking this leap, whatever happened in the past, that you've kind of it's been cyclical, and like why you haven't expanded further into something new or something different, that's coming to an end, because that's also this rebel too, right? This resolution, it says it may not happen in the way we hope or want. What's funny is I think like our first inclination when we hear that is like, oh, it's not going to be what I want or what I hoped for, instead of what if it's better? Like, again, a lot of your energy is going towards like what already happened and how it probably won't work out, instead of the opposite of like, it won't ever, it doesn't always happen in the way we hope or want, but being able to move forward and start fresh always brings relief. And to me, the relief is the experience you have of actually going for something, creating whatever this is for yourself on your own, the relief is actually about you going after it, because that means you're leaving this behind. And it happening not maybe in the way that you hope or want means that it could be even bigger than this. It doesn't have to look the way that you think. I feel like sometimes we dream too small. And this is like, it could be bigger than what you're thinking it's going to be. See what other messages your guides have for your higher self. Make it your mission to accept all parts of you, the good and what you perceive to be your imperfections. Don't look for any outside validation. It's already within you. Once you realize your true beauty and potential, you will never doubt yourself again. That's where this like belief system is coming to an end. Once you kind of get over this hill and you get into your rebel energy, it's like that's done forever. You will be unafraid to try new things. And even if you branch off into this space, like to me, it feels like it's going to be successful, but it also is going to open a lot of other doors, and you won't be afraid to move into that space. God, your cards just keep flying everywhere. Okay. Last message. When there are questions you need assistance with, go inward. Sit with yourself, meditate on the question, ask for help. Also, then trust your intuition, as most often the answer and guidance will be delivered to you intuitively. We are with you always. This one came out, I think, in a previous reading too, maybe one that you've actually watched already. So interesting, because that's what this turning in card is, right? Like you already know, really, in your soul, that you can do this. It's this that's holding you back. It's a belief around something that failed, again, like something you think failed. But to me, this is reminding you that instead of looking at whatever this is as a failure, it was a learning opportunity. You learned what didn't work, and you learned what worked in that space too. You've just been stuck in a loop of it will never work again because this didn't work, instead of, wait, what about it didn't work and how could I do it differently? And that's again what I think you've been thinking about. It's just you've been a little bit afraid of taking that leap and expanding into really your destiny. And, I think I said in the first pile, I don't think we can avoid our destiny. It may show up in different ways and at different times in our lives, but like, I'm pretty sure we're always going to be on the path to where we're supposed to go. So I hope there were messages in here for you. I still think it's hilarious that that other reading was completely different than this. So um, maybe that was just for me. But I want you to remember that you matter and everything you do every day matters. And I will see you next time. Bye.